So close you can almost taste it.
What? You just gonna walk away? Time to bring the juice.
Never leave a fit behind. Rip it, and bring the juice.
That flavor's just out of reach.
Drop the Legos and bring the juice. Yee.
Brock Lesnar is back. We are ready for Tribal Combat. Ethan Page is on the show. This is the Raw recap on WWE Now, a WWE and Fanatics original production. Did you hear that, Megan?
I can't even believe it, Sam.
Did you hear what I just said?
I can't believe it.
It's May. Check the calendar. It's May. Brock Lesnar is back. We get the Obafemi Open Challenge. And people said that, well, what are they going to do? Now, Obafemi Open Challenge, what's possibly going to happen on the Obafemi Open Challenge? 1 week, it's Obafemi versus Otis's Grundle. The next week, it's Obafemi dragging Los Garza to the ring and just beating them from pillar to post. What can we expect? And you know what I naively said? Well, gee golly, I feel like a fool. I said, gee golly, you know what I'd love to see? A real competitive match with Obafemi facing an opponent that we're not used to seeing him in there with. Gosh, I'd love to see just a one-on-one. No, here comes Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, just in the middle of the Obafemi entrance. When Obafemi, he's doing that pose.
There's still smoke in the air.
Oh, the smoke is in the air. The shadowy presence of Oba's massive frame is filling the screen.
We don't have to wait with anticipation to see who's going to answer this challenge.
No, because right between Oba's legs, you see another massive frame entering the scene. And it's Brock Lesnar taking Oba out.
With
picking
an F5
him up
immediately.
F5, picking him up again. F5, picking him up again. F5, picking him up again. F5. 4 F5s in a row. Nobody saw this coming.
No, this was just at the point. I listened to your radio show every single day on Sirius XM.
That's why you're real.
That's right. That's right. I watch the product. I support my friends.
Appreciate
That's the
that.
kind of person that I am here. But I was getting so annoyed. Callers calling in every day, pitching ideas for Brock Lesnar.
He said he's retired. He left his
He's
boots in the ring.
retired. Why are you doing this? Stop talking about Brock Lesnar because he's retired.
And we said it was so poetic. Paul, and you should have known. I mean, you should have known when Paul Heyman showed up on Raw. This guy always, I'll tell you this, tonight Paul Heyman was in his bag. Tonight was a Heyman night. You know, some nights, I will tell you this. We were fools, Megan.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about how he's looking for a meal ticket.
Go back even further. We said he lost FAFO.
We did.
We said he lost it. We didn't know how long this game was. It was the third inning of FAFO. We thought we thought it was final score.
Playing chess, baby.
That's 100% what it was.
Playing chess.
We're still in the FAFO. And Paul Heyman won.
Adam Pearce has been pretty quiet about this game lately, too.
Because he thought it was over.
Yeah, and now he's losing.
Can you imagine you didn't even know you're playing FAFO? That's how FO'd you are?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of math to wrap my brain
You're
around.
FOing to the extent that you don't even know the game is still being playing. That's how much FOing you're doing. That's insane. I've never seen it done before. Yeah. Leave it to Paul Heyman. That's not a game I'm willing to play with Paul Heyman ever, ever, ever. I mean, Brock Lesnar has this unbelievably poetic send-off at WrestleMania 42 when he leaves his boots in the ring and the fans go from booing to cheering. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Brock. I just realized my 9-year-old son, as much as he was booing Brock Lesnar, he cried when Brock left. Wait till, I don't even know how he's going to react when he sees Brock show up on Monday Night Raw. Oh my gosh.
I mean, this is to the point you were there. I was having a conversation with another wrestling fan, and we were talking about how Brock Lesnar's retirement was poetic and how we're so happy that we got to see Brock go out in that manner.
Yeah, no, that wasn't how he's not going out like that. No, he was Leo in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I mean, Brock.
Jordan Belfort starts playing.
That's right. That's right. He's going to have to get new boots, Brock. He's going to have to get a new pair of boots. He's not using the ones. He said those boots retired. I'm not using those boots anymore.
I just got some new boots, guys.
I got different boots. I don't need those anymore. Those were unlucky boots. Because I'll tell you, there was something different. Here's the thing. That whole time that we were leading up to WrestleMania, and I swear, especially after Gunther came out on SmackDown and jumped Cody Rhodes, and Paul Heyman presented the contract to Cody Rhodes and said, Gunther acquired my services to get this deal signed. That's how we ended up with what we have at Clash in Italy, which is Gunther versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And Gunther goes, I got Paul Heyman to set this deal up. That was the favor. And Paul Heyman goes, that was the favor. And now we're done.
And so all the speculation of Gunther being a Paul Heyman guy can die.
But all the speculation of favor looming also goes away. That's when it was really like, oh, this Brock Lesnar thing is over. There's nothing looming anymore. But you didn't realize what was looming.
No, I thought perhaps the favor could be Paul Heyman bringing Brock Lesnar back to have a match with Gunther.
You didn't.
And then that dies.
What none of us realized was the idea that what was leaving Brock looming was the fact that he ain't going out to Obafemi like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a different Brock on Raw. The scenario was so different in the sense that the whole buildup to WrestleMania had been Oba getting the best of Brock, Oba getting the best of Brock, Oba getting the best of Brock. At no point in the buildup to WrestleMania did Brock Lesnar get the best of Obafemi.
Not once.
It didn't happen.
Nope.
And then you got to WrestleMania, and Obafemi 1,000% beat Brock Lesnar
Yes, he did.
to the point where Brock, and I mean, and you wonder too, is this a scenario where in the moment Brock felt like he was retiring and then he went back and hunted a couple moose and said, you know what? I'm not quite done yet. I got a couple more things to do, and showed back up? Or did he know the whole time? Because if he knew the whole time, the level of performance that Brock Lesnar was playing at, I mean, that's Oscar worthy.
Yes.
What Brock did at WrestleMania. If he knew the whole time, if Brock was aware leaving Las Vegas that he'd be back on the 18th of May on Monday Night Raw or somewhere around then, if he knew he was coming back, then you're talking Daniel Day-Lewis. Okay, because I believed everything Brock was doing. Brock got emotional. Brock was waving to the fans. Brock, I mean, almost had this look around like, man, you guys really do appreciate.
But I think this
What I
is what
did.
Obafemi does to people. He keeps you awake at night. He wakes you up from a deep slumber to the realization that that just happened. Not only did Brock Lesnar get beat at WrestleMania by Obafemi, but the entire road to WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar was outdone by Obafemi.
I don't know. I think for most people, Obafemi puts them in a deep sleep and they stay in the deep sleep.
Not Brock Lesnar. What else could get Brock Lesnar to come back in May?
I mean, bro,
Obafemi.
I would love to know, because then, I mean, you got this moment where not only is it nothing like the build to WrestleMania, but Brock Lesnar leaves Oba laying, which is a scene that I was like, I didn't know how much I wanted to see that until I saw it. I didn't know how different it would be until I saw it, where it was like, yeah, Obafemi is a human being. Obafemi is not a superhero. Brock Lesnar having that moment where he's sitting down as Oba is on his back, looking at the lights, never having experienced what he just experienced. And Brock Lesnar is just sitting next to him, looking at him, going, yeah, dude, that's what I do. And that's what I've been doing for over 20 years.
And then he's walking up the ramp saying, I don't give an F.
That's what he said. And that,
I don't give an F.
Now, that we knew. that
This is true.
That was well established.
We've always known that about Brock Lesnar. He does not give an F.
With Brock Lesnar. And then Adam Pearce is like losing his mind backstage looking for Paul Heyman, who's waiting for him in his office. Of course he is. And Adam Pearce is talking about retirement. He'd already filed retirement paperwork, which I'm not 100% sure what that even means. But so far, on one night, Adam Pearce can't fire anybody and he can't file retirement paperwork. I fail to see to what degree Adam Pearce is actually holding any significant power. It seemed like on SmackDown, Nick Aldis had things pretty well in control, getting Gunther into the place that he needed Gunther to get to, you know, dealing with what Royce Keys was up to. It seemed like Nick Aldis was able to kind of manipulate all the parts and get things to where they needed to be, whereas Adam Pearce, not in the same space.
Well, there was a win for Adam Pearce because he did have, you know, the guy there ready to give Roman his title when he arrived at the building. That's how the night started.
I forgot there was a
But then
guy.
it really did go downhill from there.
Yeah, so you're saying for 30 seconds it was wins.
He did learn from his mistakes.
He
Last
just-
week he got yelled at.
He spent about 30 seconds grabbing dubs.
Yes.
And then after that, Al fever.
Well, he didn't know that Brock was going to retire. So I assume getting these papers filed.
What kind of papers?
I mean, I'm not even
Retirement
close to
papers?
retiring,
So you don't
I have
know.
no idea what the process is. But I think you have to do this like well in advance.
Start filing retirement papers?
Yes.
I see.
Like I think maybe like a year in advance.
When have you changed your mind? Well, I guess we found out. You know, I
Right.
guess.
You leave everyone in a tizzy.
I
you
guess,
know?
yeah. You leave everybody. Yeah, a tizzy is what people are left
I'm sure he
in.
had to pull some strings to file these papers late. And then now to unfile the papers.
It shouldn't be this
It's a mess.
difficult to retire. I mean, I guess maybe that's why in pro wrestling people have been very unsuccessful in retiring. You know what I mean? Because it's complicated paperwork.
Yeah.
And wrestlers aren't known for paperwork. They're known for combat.
Yes.
So maybe that's part of it. I mean, Paul Heyman just looking at Adam Pearce going, what? He is retired. And Adam Pearce is like, what are you talking about? What? He's retired. And Adam Pearce is like, so what was that? And this is another one. So I turn on Monday Night Raw tonight. In no way, shape, or form did I expect to see Brock Lesnar.
No. Me either. He was retired. I did see him in the open, right?
But in the forever.
I know.
Not in the now.
He really did get moved.
Which is the moment that we should have known it was all a ruse, that Paul Heyman, teary-eyed as he was demanding that they move Brock Lesnar from the now over to the forever, demanding it. And you're going like, oh, I know why he cared so much. He was already concocting whatever this next plan was. Because in order to get Adam Pearce off his back on the retirement thing, he gave Adam Pearce more paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
But this paperwork, and even after we see Brock Lesnar, and I'm sitting there going, we're back? We're back? Because let's keep in mind, too, what was the conversation going into WrestleMania? That this was not just hyperbole. For many people, this was the most anticipated match going into WrestleMania.
And it was the match a lot of people were talking about most coming out of WrestleMania.
100% right. They looked at it as a dual moment, not just Brock retiring, but even if he hadn't, what happened in the match and coming off the match was, in and of itself, it was a dual moment match. And so the idea of, on both nights, I would argue, the entire show, the entire weekend, if there was one match to run back, this would be it, no?
Yep.
And so the idea, but I'm sitting there going like, I don't even know. I'm trying to make heads or tails of the whole thing. But we already know at this point, it's Gunther versus Cody at Clash in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
At this point on Monday Night Raw, we can already presume that Tribal Combat, actually we had seen the graphic by this point, so we know Tribal Combat is headed to Clash in Italy. And then Paul Heyman pulls out this contract. And he says it's already signed by Brock Lesnar. So again, the one guy not caught off guard by any of this is Paul Heyman, who's got a contract that says Brock Lesnar's already signed this. It's just waiting for Obafemi's name for Clash in Italy. bro, if this contract gets signed, and I find it difficult to believe that Oba is going to turn down this match.
Oba, who was offering an open challenge.
Right. I would think that this closes the challenge. Like, this
I think so.
This is it. This is the one, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'll accept that one. Like, the idea that those 3 matches could all be at Clash in Italy,
That's insane.
the card is ridiculous
Nuts.
for Clash in Italy. And I mean, like, especially because this is a different Brock Lesnar. This is not a Brock Lesnar who,
He's foaming at the mouth.
when Oba walked into WrestleMania, he was answering Brock Lesnar's open challenge. And it put him at this advantage because he became the hunter, because he saw an opportunity and he was ready to take it. What's Brock Lesnar doing now?
He's answering Obafemi's open challenge.
So what does that make Brock Lesnar?
He's the hunter.
That's exactly right. And that's why the dynamic has so quickly changed, that you now see Brock Lesnar in this position where it's like, oh, meat.
And guess what? He doesn't give an F.
I heard that from the show, but I also kind of knew it already.
Yes,
I assumed it was the case.
But I'm glad we got it confirmed.
Yeah. No, we did get it confirmed. He said it.
And 4 F5s.
Yeah, four F5s and FAFO. And everybody's FOing all at once.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
The card is nuts. The fact that Brock is back is nuts. The
Brock-
fact that Oba was laid out on our TV screens. Think about that.
We haven't seen it.
Obafemi, who's been on Raw for what? 4 or 5 months now?
Yeah, I mean, he was there. He's been here all year. He's doing Raw and SmackDown for a while, but he's been on the main roster all year. You know, he was in the Royal Rumble, which is, by the way, the first time that he and Brock had any sort of interaction. But yeah, he's been here all year.
Never seen him laid out.
No way.
Not even close to laid out.
No. Laid out?
Never.
No.
I don't think back in NXT he was ever laid out.
There was never a situation where another human being could just sit up next to him laughing at the damage that they had done. I mean, within, like, that's the type of distance that, like, you can't walk near the swamps because a gator will jump out of the water and grab you. And you're, imagine just sitting right next to a gator, going, laughing at him, going, look what I just did to you, gator. No. Not even Lana Del Rey's husband, that gator wrangler, could get away with doing that.
And that was Obafemi tonight.
The gator.
A gator.
And who was the wrangler?
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he was. And he was wearing his Wranglers. I mean, this Brock Lesnar. My God, what a moment on Monday Night Raw. Insane.
He's back, baby.
Brock is back, dude. Brock is already on. I thought he was retired.
crazy.
I thought he was retired.
Crazy.
Of course he's not
You know,
retired.
just keep him in the forever. You don't have to
yeah.
add him to the now.
No. Yeah, because he is forever. You know what I mean? He's not going anywhere. And by the way, that's that. Yeah, and maybe that is the most perfect thing, right? Because a lot of us, I think myself included, probably said, you know, the way he went out at WrestleMania is the perfect way for him to go out.
This was the exact conversation
That was me.
I was having with somebody on Thursday.
100%. Yeah. It was so perfect. You know what the perfect way for Brock Lesnar to go out? As a looming threat. When Brock Lesnar retires, we're all going to be sitting there going, what if Brock comes back? And we're never going to know. Brock Lesnar is going to be buried in the ground. And we're going to be sitting there one day way in the future. And we're going to be sitting there going, yeah, but what if Brock Lesnar digs himself up and shows up and just wrecks somebody? Like Brock Lesnar. That's the legacy of Brock Lesnar.
And you know what? That's exactly how I want to remember Brock Lesnar.
Like
for always.
Not as a guy who's like, you know what? He took his bow and he said goodbye. No, that's for everyone else.
I don't want to celebrate him. I want to always live in fear of him.
In fear.
Always.
Not cero. Todo miedo. Todo miedo. Yeah.
Always.
Always scared. Yeah. Always scared. At any point, Brock Lesnar could show up. That's where we're at with Brock Lesnar. Just as we were talking about Adam Pearce not being able to control the retirement of Brock Lesnar. He also, I guess, since Backlash has been trying to fire Jacob Fatu.
He has.
But Roman Reigns.
I suggested a suspension.
Right. Well, yeah, you were super narky after Backlash, if I recall correctly.
I think firing is even more narky than a suspension.
I know, but the
That's-
firing is like Adam Pearce is the teacher and you're the student going like, oh, I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And it's like, yeah, but if you hadn't said anything, you know what I mean?
This is my fault.
You should have done your homework. It's really your fault. Yeah. But he's been wanting to fire him, I guess. Because he said tonight, I'm gonna fire him. He put his hands on, and Roman said no. Roman, again, this is one of my favorite parts of this, executing the power that he has talked about having. We're seeing it firsthand watching the show.
When he arrives and he gives his title, the guy
But-
that Adam Pearce has there.
But that Roman is sitting there. Why the reason Adam Pearce has not fired Jacob Fatu is because Roman says you can't yet.
Yeah, and Roman had to sign off on Jacob arriving to
Right.
WWE. So, of course, you'd have to sign off on him.
Leaving.
Departing.
Right. I clock him in, I clock him out. That's
How
the
it
way
goes.
this works.
I'm the OTC, baby.
I mean, I thought, and Adam Pearce going like, I told you last week, I said, da. And I'm glad Roman said that to him. What do you want, credit for being right? Ooh. If you just listen to me, oh my God, this guy, no wonder he had the night that he had. That's how he started it.
Poor Adam Pearce is catching a lot of strays from you.
They're
I
not
like that.
strays.
I don't
They're
like
direct.
that. I
They're
don't like
direct. They're
that.
not strays because of the way he's acting. He's out of his mind. He's not having control of everything. And then whenever any little thing goes the way he said it would go, he goes like this. Well, I did tell you.
It's a tough job.
What is?
Being the general manager of Monday Night Raw?
Nick Aldis seems to do it okay. And he doesn't come out, needing a drink. He looks like $1 million every week on SmackDown. He's got 3 hours to control. Okay? And he seems to be doing it just fine. And he's got Danhausen to deal with.
That is a lot to deal with.
I mean, he's cloning himself. He's got superstars cloning themselves.
But he doesn't have Brock Lesnar unretiring.
Well, Adam Pearce didn't realize he had that.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's the gig. I have to be able to say the gig's not getting done. So he shows up, and you're right. The intern was there with Roman's championship. I do love, too, that Roman doesn't travel with it.
Crazy.
It's the only time it's ever happened.
I know no other champion could get away with that.
Right. But they all say it. I got to bring it to the airport, and then
it's
TSA
a
wants to
name,
see
blah, blah,
it.
blah.
And they want to take a picture. But Roman's like, you'll have this for me here.
I have a guy who
Yeah.
takes care of that.
Where's
a
my
handler?
Right. Because it is true. It's not like Roman needs to wear the title when he goes to Publix.
No.
You know what I mean? He doesn't need to carry it with him everywhere.
I do imagine he walks in, though, and everyone in Publix acknowledges
For
him.
sure. Do you think that the music hits when the door opens? Boom, 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 boom.
I hope so.
I think so. I think I would hope it did. And if not, I would volunteer for that job. I'm just following him around with a little speaker, just so everybody can know to acknowledge the tribal chief.
I think people know.
People do.
But the music would help.
Yeah. No, it would help. I mean,
It's a nice
just,
touch.
It's aura. As Roman is talking to Adam Pearce about the fact that, you can't fire Jacob, not yet, because I'm going to go call him out. Roman is saying, I'm going to call him out. And you hear in the distance, huh, ah, fa, two, do, huh, huh. And Roman is livid. He's like, how am I supposed to call this guy out? He's already walking to the ring. And Adam Pearce is mad but also embarrassed because he's got the big Oos next to him. He's got the tribal chief next to him. And he's got to answer for the fact that Jacob's already on his way out to the ring. And I don't know, who was manning that station, but clearly it started off Adam Pearce's night in a tough way. Because Jacob Fatu now goes to the ring, and he says that he'd like Roman Reigns to bring his punk ass out to the ring.
Right now.
Which it's like, if you're the tribal chief, you don't want anybody talking about you being a punk ass. You don't want to say right now.
But I do love when Jacob calls people punk ass.
I mean, yeah, because he means it.
It's the coolest.
It's the only, it's like, there's never been a more authentic use of punk ass.
And what's Roman going to do? Go, oh, maybe later.
Right.
He's got to go out there.
Well, he should put out there, though, by the way, I was coming out anyway. Just so everybody knows, I was coming out regardless. I'm not coming out because he's calling me out. You heard me back there. I was going to call him out. So I am coming out, but I was doing it anyway.
I said it first.
That's fair. The Usos, though, they came out. And Jimmy, who is trying to be the cooler heads prevails guy, is trying to talk to Jacob. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's talking some sense into him. He was like, "You were
He's
supposed
attempting to talk some sense into him.
You were supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns. This is how it goes.
Right.
You said you would do anything to bring money to your family,
Right. You're going to screw it all up, he said.
and you're gonna get fired.
Right.
And you're gonna end up right back where you were."
And I just love the idea, though, that Jimmy's sitting there going like, I'm going to talk some sense into him. And Jacob's like, what do you think this is?
And Jay's pacing around.
Crash Out Jay is my favorite Jay. This is
He's
easily
just ready
this
to
is-
explode
I mean,
at
it's
any moment.
This is my favorite Jay. I love this version of Jey Uso. I feel like it's the real Jey Uso. It's the most honest version of Jey Uso. Like, he's just not here for any of it anymore.
And Jimmy's just trying to keep.
It's all right. It's all right. Like, amongst everybody, he's dealing with Jacob. He's dealing with Jay. He's trying to make sure Roman's cool. He's like, all right, guys, we got a good thing here. Let's not blow it. And all of a sudden, Jay goes in for the attack. Jacob's right there to hit Jay. Jimmy's like, oh, man, like, my brother's gotten me into another fight, which is, I'm sure, takes him right back to growing up. Oh, Jay's got me into another fight.
Growing up or yesterday.
Or yesterday. Yeah, I gotta go get his back now. And Jacob is able to take out both Usos right there. There was one point that Jay hit Jacob in the back with a steel chair. And it was just nothing.
Nothing.
No. Tongan Death Grip takes Jay out too. Here comes
Going right to the Tongan Death Grip.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and Jay is just down. Here comes Roman.
And I love this because Jacob is acting like a total killer here. He's applying Tongan Death Grip after Tongan Death Grip, and Roman comes out, and just the stare of Roman Reigns stops Jacob dead in his tracks.
Because it's like, this is it. This is the battle that we're looking for. And even in like tonight specifically, I noticed just looking at the difference in these two individuals, the way Roman is just sitting there looking like wealth, looking like a boss with the hair slicked back, with the beard groomed, with the nice everything, looking like the champion. And Jacob just looking like he's ready for a fight. And Roman getting in the ring, and I swear, you should have heard me today on the radio going like, you know what? I think tonight's going to be the night for words. I don't think it's going to be physicality tonight. I said that.
What an idiot.
I mean, talk about your
I hope
all-time
the callers
misfires.
light you up tomorrow.
They should. I mean, they know better. I was somehow twisted around on them, but I would deserve it if that were if.
Hey, I was listening to you last week. You're like, I don't even remember the last time I was wrong.
Right. Well, guess what? I won't remember it tomorrow either.
Oh.
We're gonna keep moving on.
Love
and
how
we're gonna
that works.
Yeah, isn't it great? Prove me wrong. So it wasn't words. It was physicality. And Roman's going after Jacob. But once again, he goes for that Superman punch, and boom, Jacob catches him. Tongan Death Grip takes Roman out, but before Roman can go all the way out, the Usos are back in. Spear, super kick, spear, super kick. They end up getting Jacob down. They end up hitting Jacob with that 1D. They tie Jacob up in the ropes.
Superman punch. Superman punch.
The three of them start beating him down. Yeah, you're right. It's super kick, it's super kick, it's Superman punch, it's Superman punch. And then just when Jacob can't take anymore, they finally, and again, we were talking last week about this guy being an animal. They have to tie him up to do this to him. And then they finally untie him and put him right in the position so that Roman can spear him and take him out.
Ooh, ah.
Which, by the way, acknowledge my tribal chief. He didn't do it by himself.
See, I was going to ask you that because you are one who always defends Roman Reigns, defends his schedule, defends
Yes.
everything that Roman Reigns does. And I was going to bring forward
I'm
to
an
you that
honorary Us.
You are.
That's official.
Well,
Wow.
not from Roman. From Jacob, you're an honorarius.
Bloodline. You can tell Jacob he's wrong?
No, not right, especially
Yeah.
right now. No,
No,
absolutely
now's not the time.
But I was going to bring forward to you that the haters would criticize Roman Reigns for not being able to do it by himself.
Roman Reigns could not take out Jacob Fatu by
So
himself.
the haters are right.
No, the haters would tell you Roman Reigns cannot do it by himself, period. It meaning do the thing. regardless of opponent. I'm saying with Jacob Fatu, tonight, he could not do it by himself. In the past, he has not been able to do it by himself. At Backlash, he beat Jacob. I mean, there was an exposed turnbuckle. There was, a referee in bad positioning, but he beat him without interference.
Sure.
But tonight, Roman could not get that done by himself. Not tonight, which makes you wonder what's going to happen when it's the two of them again.
And it's tribal combat.
I mean, when they're leaving. And first of all, listen. Roman first not doing it alone. I went, And then Roman, after the beatdown that he didn't do by himself, telling Adam Pearce, you can fire him, do whatever you want. I don't know about that. I don't want to question my tribal chief too much, but
Sounds like you might be.
I don't know about that. You sure about that? Are you sure about that? That's when we hear the gasps from the ring. Roman. Tribal combat. And that's where the honor is returned to our tribal chief. That's where the honor is returned to Roman Reigns, because he puts his hand down over Adam Pearce's microphone, which again.
Do you think Adam Pearce was going to fire him?
Yeah. That's what Adam Pearce that's what his expressed intent was. I think he wanted to. When Roman was like, nah. And he put his hand over his microphone.
I accept.
And Adam Pearce is like, all right, well, I guess that's that then. I guess they're the ones making the decisions then. And we get it. Tribal combat. And like I said, there's been two other tribal combats ever before.
Jey Uso and Solo.
I think those were the two, yeah, which Roman obviously won. But we get it at Clash in Italy, tribal combat, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Championship. And this is one of those where it's like, it really strikes me as it being difficult to have any questions coming off of this match. Now that it's official and now that that's the stipulation, it feels as though like this is kind of the answer the questions and be done with it match. Meaning Jacob either wins the championship and Roman has to sit there and go like, yeah, I lost the championship that quickly. Or Jacob doesn't win the championship and just goes, yeah, I'm not getting what Roman has.
And has to acknowledge Roman Reigns.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do have to acknowledge him. That's a choice that I could see Jacob not wanting to do that. That's a choice that Jacob would have to make. Either Jacob acknowledges Roman or Jacob maybe has to go off and do his own thing for a while. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's one or the other here. You know what I mean? It's not sort of a...
I mean, if he doesn't acknowledge him and he keeps acting in the manner that he's currently been acting, Jacob's job could no longer exist.
I would love to see Adam Pearce actually pull the trigger and see what happens to Adam Pearce. Give a guy like Jacob Fatu nothing to lose and see what happens.
I mean, Jimmy Uso tried to lay it out for him too.
I know he did, and look what happened. How'd that work out for Jimmy?
Not great.
Poorly, I would say. I go so far as to say poorly. But at the same time, I was talking about Roman having help from other people. Tribal combat's going to allow a lot to go down.
That's
lot.
True. That is true.
So we'll see what happens, man. Before we get back to Raw, we got to talk about the main event that's happening in your own home.
Of course.
I mean, life is basically WrestleMania every single day.
Every day.
A high-stakes gauntlet where the responsibilities, they just keep coming and coming. It feels like you're constantly making trade-offs between the things you have to do and the things you actually love. That's why we're celebrating these moments where you refuse to tap out, It's time for the Minute Maid Juice Break, where we highlight those everyday wins that deserve a massive pop.
You want to go first?
No. Am I going?
You usually go first, but you often complain about it, so I thought I'd ask.
No, it says I'm supposed to go first.
Okay,
again. I don't know why this...
You can go first.
I mean, I will tell you, this was significant, I would say. Okay, this was just yesterday. It was Sunday. I'm sitting there, you have a lazy Sunday.
Love it.
I was thinking about going to see the Chronicles of Narnia, like any other lazy Sunday. But I go, right? And I'm going like, man, you know, the last thing I want to do is make this bed, right? I want to go downstairs, hang with the kids, maybe put a movie on or something and just relax. Not have to worry about any responsibilities. And making the bed, it's a little responsibility, but it's something, you know? But then I thought to myself, man, I'm going to be glad I did this later tonight.
Future you.
So you know what I did? Instead of tapping out and taking the easy way out and just going and, yeah, whatever, I'll let it take care of itself. I did it. I made the bed, put in the little hospital corners and everything, made sure it was nice and tight. And I was so glad that I did that because when I went that night, I had a great night's sleep, and it was like it was all to put in that extra bit of work made all the difference later. And honestly, when I got in the bed Sunday evening, I said, thank God I didn't tap out. You know,
It was worth it.
it was worth it ultimately.
Well, similarly, this weekend,
Yes.
beautiful weekend,
Yes.
gorgeous weather.
Okay.
I was with my child
Right.
at the playground at the park.
Cool.
So we're walking over there.
Okay.
And on the way to the park, I noticed that there's, some wrappers on the ground.
What, like hip hop stars?
No, like candy wrappers.
Oh, gotcha.
Debris,
Sure.
trash.
Sure.
Now, I could have just walked right past this debris.
Yeah.
Wasn't mine.
No.
I didn't leave it there.
No.
So I guess it's not really my problem.
It's not your responsibility.
But
Mhm.
I could also just pick up the trash
Right.
and make this park a nicer place for everyone around.
Okay.
So I didn't want to tap out to all those litter bugs
Okay.
around.
Okay.
So I did. I picked up the trash on my way to the playground, threw it away, and continued on with a beautifully clean park that we can all enjoy.
How come yours is always like something that the whole community benefits from?
Just trying to be a good person.
It's just not even in the spirit of this thing that we do. It's not. It totally sets.
Are you criticizing me for being a good person?
And then you say that, and then I can't. Minute Maid and WWE are tag teaming your daily grind, bringing main event energy to life's everyday matches. It's just supposed to be like a little thing that you do. Not
It was a
big, like,
little thing. It was picking up
the whole
trash.
community. Oh, the whole park's clean. Together, we're turning the toughest rounds into moments worth cheering for.
From the ring to real life, Minute Maid and WWE are here to help you bring the juice when the day tries to tap you out.
Never tap out on taste.
Bring
the juice. Well, I'll tell you what. We got a big show coming up on Saturday. Saturday night's main event.
Massive.
And part of Saturday night's main event is, of course, our Intercontinental Championship match. Penta will be defending the title against All Ego Ethan Page, who was interviewed briefly by Michael Cole on Monday Night Raw. But after that conversation,
Mike.
well, that's what he called him, you and I got the chance to have All Ego Ethan Page here on the Raw Recap. We welcome to the Raw Recap the one and the only All Ego Ethan Page. Ethan, how are you, man?
I'm okay.
Why only okay?
I've already done this today. And I actually got to select my questions. I was given enough time to prepare not only myself, but the interviewer or whatever interviewer, just like you guys. So this is very last minute. I feel unprepared, but go on. I'm a professional.
Well, I mean, I appreciate us you giving us the time, and and I do. Well, I do. I think Megan does.
Greatly
as well.
appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
And your jawline looks fantastic.
Okay. I see you watch the show.
So what is? He's right.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll start here. What is the difference? You made this clarification tonight that it's not about ego, it's about confidence. What is the difference between ego and confidence from your perspective?
Look, I mean, the phrase all ego, very marketable, and you can understand exactly what I'm about the second you hear it. I mean, that's kind of how I operate. I'm very meticulous with everything and deliberate with everything. But if you're going to insult me by using the word ego in a descriptive way to belittle me, yeah, I'm going to definitely lock in and explain to you that this is not ego. This is not because of a insecurity. It's not a knee-jerk reaction coming from somebody who doesn't believe in themselves. No, I believe wholeheartedly with every ounce of me. I have been documented saying that I already believe that I am good enough to be the world heavyweight champion. I have chosen to go after the Intercontinental Championship out of respect to its lineage and what it represents in the history of this company. Took me over, I don't know, 20 years to get to Monday Night Raw? You know what? 19, 20 years. This is very important to me. I'm not doing this in my early 20s that I can, flub up or get arrested or fired. No. I'm 36 years old. This is it. Intercontinental Championship, and then off to the races, like every great before me. I was insulted by Michael Cole.
I understand. I get it. And I mean, you're right. For as long as you've been in the wrestling industry and as long as you've been working to get to the spot that you're in, it is good to hear the reverence that you have for the Intercontinental Championship and the kind of awareness. Is that something that, going over the last 2 decades that you thought about? I mean, for me as a fan, the Intercontinental title is something that is so associated not only with WWE and with people who have made a claim in WWE history, but I mean, that list of champions, those are the best wrestlers to have wrestled in WWE. Is that how you see this title?
Yeah, and then they always end up becoming the best world champion, whether it be WCW or WWE. These are all greats. These are all fantastic greats that end up having long historic lineages in this company. Wherever people came from, they all ended up here, and they all ended up with the Intercontinental Championship as the launching pad. It's factual. And I don't think Penta even understands what he's holding.
I mean, I don't know. I would have to ask Penta that question, but Penta is another person like you. I mean, Penta
bother him
has...
for an interview next time. Don't bother me. You can ask him whatever you want. I'm sure he won't take the time to prepare questions like I did for Michael.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mean that to be insulting. All I meant was that when you talk about your story of how long it took you to get to Monday Night Raw, Penta has been on a roll here for a year and change, but Penta took a similar role. Penta also was involved, was wrestling everywhere for 15 years before he got to WWE and before he got to Monday Night Raw. Do you see
only 15?
Well, I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me.
Good luck comparing when you don't know the details.
Ooh,
okay,
that's tough.
Yeah.
No, that's good. What did you watch, an Instagram video and now all of a sudden you're an expert?
No, I'm not. I've tracked both of your careers. I'm a fan of everything that you guys have done, but I think there are similarities in the road that you took. And Penta is a unique opponent in the sense that most people that you'd be paired up with, or at least a lot of people, maybe they didn't have to fight as much as you had to fight to get to the spot that you're in WWE, but Penta did.
I guess. You know why he's a unique opponent?
Why?
None of us know who he is. And he's out here living his life, giving terrible advice to impressionable people, telling them zero miedo. I don't know if you speak Spanish, either of you. I don't know much about either of you, but that means zero fear.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty asinine. Imagine living your life with zero fear. It's stupid. I send my kids out every single day with a worry. Be careful. Head on a swivel. That's how you survive. Penta sending all the youth, the WWE fans, what do we call this? The WWE universe? Yeah. Well, the WWE universe gets terrible advice from someone who hides their identity and doesn't stand behind what he says. Now, you guys don't like what I say. Most people don't. I'm okay with it. I've learned to be okay with that. But I do it with my face, my identity, and I own it all with a smile. And he paints his, hides his, and gets away with murder.
He's not wrong.
No.
Unique opponent, though. That's a good way to put it. People say I have propaganda and I know how to spin things, and yet look at the WWE. Look what they're doing for Penta.
So, Ethan, when you arrived on Monday Night Raw, you know, you illustrated earlier in this conversation how it's taken you almost 20 years to get here to Monday Night Raw. Was this Intercontinental Championship going after it? Is this just step one in Ethan Page making an impact on the main roster?
I mean, I'm here for everything. All of it. Every one that you think I can't beat, I will beat. Every championship you think I won't hold, I will hold. Actually, not even what I want. What everyone else wants, I will have. That's just been the story of my life. I said it to Mike today in his interview. Some people are just born under the stars. Clearly, I was.
Yep. I mean, must be nice.
It is. Dude, my father's been telling me that since the day I was born, and I've believed it. I truly was born under the stars. Hand selected.
I don't understand where you, like the lineage that you come from, where you go on one end, you say that you were raised to believe that you were born under the stars, but then the generation under you, you make them leave the house with their head on a swivel in a worry.
Yeah, not everyone is me.
Oh, wow.
It's also interesting because
Hold on. I have a question. I have a question.
Sorry. Yeah.
What makes me special if everyone is the same?
Nothing would, if that were the case, if everyone were the same, nothing would make you special.
Yeah, so what, you want me to just start passing out secrets to everyone? My children included? How many families have you seen fall apart in the end?
A lot.
Huh?
A lot.
I might be raising my enemies.
That's actually quite, I don't know if it's smart or paranoid, but I will say that something that I was thinking about on the watching the way you've done business just over the last several.
By the way, can we pause?
Yes.
I feel very bad. She had a question she wanted to ask.
Go for
Thank
it.
you.
I interrupted her. You barely let her speak. It's more your show than hers. Please let her do it. Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I was just going to say how, I find it interesting that you come on here and you talk about this great respect that you have for the Intercontinental Championship and all of the greats who have held the Intercontinental Championship. Yet, in your instructions to Mike, as you call him, I call him Michael Cole, you said that you wanted to rename.
You're trying to climb the political ladder here. I couldn't give a crap about anybody in this company.
Wow.
But you said you wanted to rename the title the Ethan Page Championship after having all of this respect?
First of all, let me correct you by saying I don't respect the wrestlers. Okay?
Okay.
So you said I have all this respect in the world for all these greats before me. No, that's not true. I respect what the championship did for them. I'm going to do it better. I am going to take the Intercontinental Championship to places it's never been before.
It's been to a lot of places.
No, it has. It's been across. It's through multiple continents. Starting in Rio, coming back, all over the place. But what I've noticed about you, Ethan, and you talked about the meticulous way that you've been going about.
You guys notice a lot.
Well, that's our job. We're analysts. We got to notice everything so we can analyze it. That there have been, over the last few months, a lot of talent call-ups from NXT and a lot of fresh faces on the main roster. And there is a lot of discussion about where they came from. There's a lot of discussion about the fact that they're from NXT, a lot of discussion about the type of impact that they're making on the main roster. But for you, it feels like almost instantly you left all of that behind. For you, you have done an incredible job, actually, of immediately pushing a narrative forward where when Ethan Page comes out.
So look, this is the thing. This did not start when I debuted on Monday Night Raw. I have disagreed with this egregious phrase of call up or getting called up, or my least favorite phrase, the main roster. When I was in NXT, that was the brand that I worked for. That was the jersey that I wore, the team that I had to play for. Well, I've just been traded. When I wore the NXT jersey, still the best player on the field. I just wear a different jersey now. I've been dangerous in NXT. I will be dangerous on Monday Night Raw. And if for some reason they want to strike a deal and send me to SmackDown so I can take the belt from Cody, that sounds great too. Look, I said it and I'm going to do it. I want it all. And I wanted it all when I was in NXT, and it hasn't changed. I said this when I was there, and I'm so happy that I can say it while I'm actually in the seat that I knew I would take. There is no main roster. Wherever you put Ethan Page, it is the best show in the WWE.
You know, Megan and I interviewed Penta in this room, and when he was in this room, he pointed to the wall where there's a replica of the WWE Championship hanging, and Penta said that he was coming for it all. Penta said that he was coming to be the world champion. Penta said, I mean, maybe, not quite as combative in tone, but he said similar things to you about coming for all of it. With him entering this match with a very similar mindset to you.
Yeah.
What happens if you lose to Penta at Saturday night's main event?
Well, here's the thing. Penta looked at a replica championship and said he wants that. Well, you can go to shopwwe.com and get that. I looked at Penta in his stupid painted up face and said, I'm coming for your Intercontinental Championship. Very specific. I don't plan on buying one using my employee discount. No, thank you. I'll be taking Penta's championship, the Intercontinental Championship, not a replica. Yeah, we're much different.
I guess that's accurate. Well, Ethan, congratulations on the opportunity that awaits you at Saturday night's main event. Congratulations on your success thus far on Monday Night Raw, and the fact that it does seem that everything is going according to plan. It also feels like before we let you go, you have brought out. Yeah, but then I remembered that I've again noticed that you brought.
Oh, you want more from Ethan Page, just like everybody else.
A little more.
You noticed again.
Well, it feels. I didn't mean to keep anybody waiting. It feels like you've brought out a little bit of a softer side in Rusev. It feels like
true.
You and Rusev are kind of getting along in a way that even Rusev didn't intend. Is this a legitimate friendship that we're seeing building, or is this manipulation?
Okay, well, this is offensive that you would bring up relationship issues on a public forum like this. Would you like me to ask you about your family? How's things at home?
For me, everything's fine. Everything's
okay.
good.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let me give you my thought process here. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the phrase? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, everyone in this building is an enemy. So when they're in the room with me, they're my friend.
I mean, it's sound logic. Ethan Page, all ego. Thank you so much for the clarification today. Good luck on Saturday night. And we can't wait to speak to you again here on WWE Now.
I wish the feeling was mutual, and I'm very happy that we are wrapping this up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good luck on Saturday.
You're so very welcome, both of you. And you should let her speak more, Sam.
Thank
Be
you.
a gentleman, please.
Not stopping her, but I appreciate that very much. Thank you for the advice.
Oh, it's coming off.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know. Professional courtesy.
Well, thank you.
Moving this? Are we done?
Okay.
Okay, they're wrapping me up here. I wanted to give you a little more time. I'm a very nice guy, but I'm done. Thank you. So see you later.
Okay. Thank you to Ethan Page. I was not attempting to stop you from speaking. I would hope that you...
I thought he made some really good points.
Okay, good. Oh, but by the way, also, every time you asked a question, he gave you a hard time.
That was tough.
Yeah.
But he also was looking out for me. I appreciate that.
Did you feel like there were questions that you needed addressed that weren't addressed?
No, you did. You did cover that.
Okay, and I thought you covered them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's
You know-
a tricky one there.
He is tricky, you know? And just when you think he's in your good graces, he decides to turn it around and go in a different direction.
You know, it might have been easier if he gave us the list of questions like he did for Mike.
It seemed like it was going well when he gave Mike the list of questions before the interview. That's true. But I actually have a question for you. Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Of course.
Who doesn't? You know, I do. And now you can not only believe in Joe Hendry, you can grab 2 new authentic Joe Hendry tees at WWE Shop and Fanatics. Say his name and pick up your new merch today. Also, you've heard about this guy. He's easy to find, but he's hard to beat. Cody Rhodes has a brand new collection available now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. You can grab yours now and feel the adrenaline in your soul. I love Cody. Stripping down to basics, the black and white. I like what we're seeing from him. And I think it's going into Clash in Italy. It's going to be a big, big deal. But speaking of big deals, Seth Rollins shows up on Monday Night Raw tonight and says that he's issuing a challenge to a member of the Vision. And he wants it to be Braun Breaker. Now, Paul Heyman steps in front of that and points out to Braun Breaker, don't you understand? You now know where Seth Rollins is going to be. You know when he's going to be there. You don't need to take this challenge.
Why don't you just call the play on that one?
That's right. And he puts it in Austin Theory's court. So we get Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory to end Monday Night Raw. Big main event. Austin Theory looked at it as an opportunity. I think it was a pretty big opportunity.
Massive.
For Austin Theory to main event Monday Night Raw with one of the best in the game right now. But you know, I mean, the thing goes haywire. Seth Rollins wins the match. Don't let any of the hoopla after the match allow you to forget.
That's a very important indication because if you just caught the last 2 minutes of Raw, you wouldn't know.
No, Seth Rollins won that match. Okay. And then Dawkins comes out because Seth Rollins is getting attacked by the Vision, by Austin Theory and Logan Paul. And obviously the Street Profits have their problems that they're going to try to settle at Saturday night's main event. But Dawkins is now outnumbered because Seth was already taken out. Dawkins is now outnumbered 2-1. And so Montez Ford comes out and you can read it all over his face. He is not happy to be out here helping Seth Rollins.
He's like, dude, to Dawkins, dude, I told you. Problems follow this guy.
That's right. And he's annoyed even when he's in the ring. And like literally moments after he's saying it, here comes Braun Breaker out there. And what does he do?
He spears him.
Yeah, he spears Montez.
And Montez
in
pushed
half.
Dawkins out of the way.
Right. Trying to save Dawkins. But that's exactly like last week. It was Seth Rollins getting out of the way. Dawkins got speared. This week, it's Dawkins getting out of the way. Montez gets speared. But listen, everything that Montez Ford says about Seth Rollins and problems following him, he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
I don't know how he ends up in these positions over and over again, but he's been the one. Look, you could want to be a good person all you want. You can want to make alliances all you want. But like those instincts that Montez has that says from the beginning, I don't care what this guy says. I don't care what this guy does. We know what this leads to. You know, it's one of those like in my life, if I don't want step 4 to happen, I don't do step 1 or 2 or 3. I stop at step 1 to avoid step 4. I don't wait till step 3 and I'm in too deep.
Don't even get close to it.
This is what Montez is trying to set up some healthy boundaries for himself and for Dawkins. And he's the only one that's willing to listen to these boundaries. Seth is going like, no, it's all good now.
Well, there's quite the temptation, right? Like Seth Rollins is a
Yeah.
WrestleMania main eventer. He's the superstar who never lost the World Heavyweight Championship.
He's a good one to have on your side.
Exactly. But Tez goes, nope,
And I respect that for Montez.
100%.
Where he's like, no. First of all, I
You
have
have
enough.
to look at the whole picture.
Right. I have
Don't
enough.
just read me the credentials.
Right.
You need to look at the entire picture.
What's the context around all of it? I've got enough faith in myself that I can do it with what got me here.
And the context is that trouble seems to follow this guy.
That's right. He knew Seth Rollins was trouble when Seth walked in. That's what they say.
Tez is like, look, is that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that what Taylor Swift says?
Well, somebody said it. I don't remember who it was, but go on.
Tez is away from WWE for months,
Right.
returns the Raw after Mania. He just wants to get the tag team championship.
He told Seth.
And now he's dragged into all this Seth Rollins business.
I don't know. I mean, look, there's a lot of business going on the same way. And I get why people have this opinion about Seth Rollins. But LA Knight sticking his nose into Seth Rollins' business earlier in the night. LA Knight just walking up to Seth Rollins and going like, hey, you know, you're going to need help and it's not going to be me. And it's
Like,
almost
thanks,
like,
dude.
yeah, cool. We didn't even have to have this conversation. And this is right after LA Knight had done a similar thing to Jay and Jimmy Uso, where Jay and Jimmy are like, we have our own problems, dude. We don't need this right now. Like, I don't know why LA Knight decided in the middle of this, he's going to sit there and like rub it in.
LA Knight's like, hey, man, looks like you need help. I'm not going to do it. So in the words of Nick Saban, quit asking.
That's right. Yeah, you wonder what LA Knight's motivation is for all of this. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just to walk up to people and start trouble for no reason. I think there's a grander plan in all of this. I just don't know what it is.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. Because then when Braun Breaker's out there, he goes after Seth Rollins, and once again, Seth can say whatever he wants, whether it is in the segments leading to Backlash, whether it was the Backlash match itself, whether it was tonight. Something happens when Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are in the same vicinity. Seth Rollins ends up on his back and Braun Breaker leaves on his feet. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're Seth Rollins, you either need to figure out a different game plan or you need to figure out somebody else to attack because this ain't working. Because once again, we end Monday Night Raw with the Vision walking out on each member's own 2 feet, Paul Heyman behind them. I mean, on
Great
cloud
night for Paul
9.
Heyman.
What a night for Paul Heyman.
He's got to be feeling good. He's going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Oh, yeah, he is. And Seth on the ground again. Do you think that Seth has to completely re-strategize?
Yes.
Or do you think it's just a matter of, no, I'm going to get him alone, and when I get him alone, it's going to be a wrap?
Completely re-strategize.
Wow.
He's not going to get him alone.
No, by design. And it's Seth's design, by the way. If
course.
anybody should know this, it's Seth. But he's letting that, like, lust for revenge, I think, take over everything.
I mean, Heyman knew it right away. He was like, look, I know you want Breaker.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're not getting Breaker in the match,
Right.
but you'll get him later.
He'll be there. Man. You know, I hope that speaking of places where Braun Breaker will be, I hope Fanatics Fest is one of the places, you know. The #1 sports fan festival is what I'm talking about, Fanatics Fest.
Of course.
It returns to the Javits Center in New York City from July 16th through the 19th, 2026, of course. It's a must-attend event for WWE fans. You'll be able to meet your favorite superstars and enjoy surprises all weekend long. New superstars just added to Fanatics Fest include Oba Femi, AJ Styles, and Trick Williams.
Whoop that trick.
Photo and autographs for these superstars will be available for purchase on Friday, May 29th. Keep May 29th circled on your calendar because additional auto and photo opportunities will be added for all superstars, including superstars that are currently sold out. New openings pop up for those. Fanatics Fest general admission and photo opportunity tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com. Now, before we fully get in to what we can expect on Saturday and Saturday night's main event, we saw an interaction that led us to a Saturday night's main event match that I know I'm sure you've been chomping at the bit to get into.
I thought we'd never get here.
Well, Sol Ruca was talking about what her experience has been since getting to Monday Night Raw and having matches with Liv Morgan and having matches with Io Sky. And then once again, she's interrupted by the one and only Becky Lynch.
Well, Soul was back there gloating a bit.
What do you mean gloating?
I mean, she hasn't won anything, and she was backstage talking to Byron as if she has.
No, you're right. You're right. For a WWE superstar to be feeling positive and high on themselves, that is totally unfounded.
After going 0-2?
That's 2 losses.
Yeah, you
man.
come up to Monday Night Raw with all of these expectations.
Right.
Huge spotlight.
Right.
Coming off of John Cena's last match.
Right.
And you just...
And she lost at John Cena's last match or won?
Well, she won there.
Oh.
But she wasn't officially a Raw superstar then. So then she comes to Raw and immediately just drops to 0-2.
2 losses, yeah. And Becky Lynch, what is she, a 3-time Intercontinental Champion?
And the greatest female wrestler of all time. Not just me saying it.
No, I know. By the way, they published a new list. She wasn't at the top of it. But if you are a 3-time Intercontinental Champion, how many times have you lost the title? How many losses would that be total? To get it 3 times. How many losses would that be?
Well,
It's just simple math. You're a graduate. You went to a great college.
I mean, that would...
I saw it on Wikipedia.
That would mean you've lost it at least twice.
2 losses. Okay, 2. You're saying Becky Lynch.
But she's had a lot more wins, too. How many wins has Soul had since she's been on the main roster? How many?
She's been on the main roster for a few weeks.
How many wins?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
How many wins? None.
None so far, but she's got a big match now.
So far.
But you know what? How about
far.
this? How about this? You, I mean, going full boomer last week, talking about kids these days. She hears Becky Lynch and goes, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take care of that. And just leaves instantly, goes right to the ring, and immediately calls out Becky Lynch. You have to respect that move.
I mean, it's one thing, like, to be so passive aggressive. She had Becky Lynch face to face backstage. She could have just handled her business there.
Right. Who wants to do it in front of an audience? What does she think she is, a WWE superstar on Monday Night Raw? Go on.
Anyways.
Right. Who wants to do it? I mean, especially like there's a whole arena. They're called a ticket buying public. But she could do it where the trucks are. Why wouldn't she do it there? Good point.
This Sol Ruca, she's got something coming for her on Saturday. I tell you that.
I'll bet. It was odd too, right? Because not only did Sol challenge Becky right away. She said, I'll do it tonight. Becky said, no. Makes the match official for Saturday night's main event. However, and Becky, I did like this line. She said she's not only a star maker, she's a star breaker. I did like that. That's a cool line.
It's true.
Which stars has she broken?
AJ Lee was so traumatized she had to leave the business.
That's why she left the business?
That's what Becky said tonight.
That is a star breaker then. Becky, though, said she will not defend the Intercontinental title at Saturday night's main event. That's what she said.
What has Sol done to earn an Intercontinental Championship match?
Yeah, okay, if
she got really close against her first 2 opponents on Raw, so now suddenly you're getting a championship match?
Who were her first 2 opponents?
Well, it was Liv Morgan and Io Sky,
what did you said before about Io Sky in terms of...
she's the best wrestler on the planet? Okay, so you could beat the best wrestler on the planet, then you earn an Intercontinental Championship opportunity. But you get really close.
Best wrestler on the planet.
But you get really close. Now suddenly we're just handing out championship opportunities. Again, to Becky's point, this generation, you have to work to earn these opportunities. The fact that she's getting in the ring with the greatest female wrestler of all time
is the opportunity in and of itself.
Of course.
I see. What if she beats Becky at Saturday night's main event?
Well, then maybe we can talk about a championship match.
Will you talk about it?
Maybe. If she beats her.
Maybe.
If she beats her.
You think she will?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Well,
no.
let's take a look at the Saturday night's main event card. Let's take a look at what we can expect to see this Saturday. Saturday night's main event. It's a big card. Of course, we are going to have Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca 1-on-1. And I think that
big dubs for Bex.
I don't know if it's going to be big dubs for Bex. This is Sol Ruca's first opportunity on an event like Saturday night's main event. The last time she was on Saturday night's main event was John Cena's last match. And she beat a member of the original 4 Horsewomen. Now she's back on Saturday night's main event. What was that group that Becky Lynch used to be a part of, the original four.
Four Horsewomen. Yeah.
Oh,
But
interesting.
didn't she beat Bailey?
Becky?
No.
Oh,
Ruka.
yeah.
She defeated Bailey. And we know how Becky feels about Bailey. Come on.
Becky.
The reason that Becky took Bailey out
Becky.
for WrestleMania.
Becky feels that. Okay, no. Okay, fine. All right. Well,
You
we'll
think
see.
Becky's impressed by the fact that Sol Ruka beat Bailey?
I would hope she is impressed.
I don't think she is.
Okay, well, I think she should be impressed, quite frankly. I was impressed. I think that Becky should be
I
impressed.
mean, I was impressed too because I respect the Four Horsewomen. I respect Bailey, but Becky's not impressed.
Okay, well, she probably should get impressed because it might be tough for her. Might be tough for Becky Lynch. We'll see. We'll see if Sol Ruka's got the juice. In the words of Minute Maid, we'll see if she can get the job done. Also, Saturday night's main event, tag team championship on the line. We saw a taste of this at the end of Monday Night Raw when the Vision was confronted not only by Seth Rollins, but by Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins too. The Street Profits go for that tag team championship. This is what they have been looking for from the very beginning. I got to tell you, based on tonight, it feels like the Vision is running at a level that I don't know if we've seen since maybe right after Seth Rollins got beaten out of the group.
Yeah, Logan Paul wasn't even in the Vision yet.
No, that's
Neither was
Austin Theory.
Yeah.
But for a long
this
time,
version of the Vision, this is
for a long time we said they weren't on the same page. And now look at where they are. Look at where they ended Monday Night Raw tonight. Everybody on the same page. It could be very difficult for the Street
very
Profits.
cohesive.
Very difficult for the Street Profits, who also are trying to figure out at this point who their friends are and who their friends aren't. We've got
what business to get involved in.
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
The Intercontinental Championship is on the line at Saturday night's main event. All Ego Ethan Page goes for the title against Penta. And you know, Ethan Page made a lot of good points tonight on this podcast, but I mean, I will say I felt like I did a pretty good job of making my own points. That as hard as Ethan Page has worked to get to the spot that he's in, Penta's had a very similar journey.
He has.
Penta's one of these guys that was wrestling for years and years in every organization you can possibly imagine. Just about every organization that Ethan Page has been a part of, Penta has also been a part of. Every bit of the motivation that Ethan Page talks about having, Penta also has. You know, so feeling like a rude awakening for Ethan Page.
Yeah, especially Penta. I mean, operating on this level since WrestleMania, going into WrestleMania.
And getting a taste of gold. And now going like, no.
Hungry for the reign.
This is going nowhere. Nowhere. We'll see. It'll be a huge moment for Ethan Page. And then, of course, our women's trios match, women's 3-on-3. You've got, yeah, of course. And before we get to the 3-on-3, the women's tag team championship as well. Hit me with that women's tag team championship. We can go to the women's 3-on-3 after. Paige and Brie Bella, who have been defending these championships like crazy. We saw them in action on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. We saw them in action tonight getting past the Judgment Day. Now they're facing the Irresistible Forces at Saturday night's main event. Paige and Brie, who did not have much tagging experience before this, have been thrown together. Yeah, yes. Of course. Have been thrown really into this lion's den. Into this like most competitive that the women's tag division has ever been.
By a mile.
And now you've got the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, who have had a chance. They were never pinned, and they've had those titles. They want those titles back. They were identified by those titles for a long time. I mean, I could see them getting it, but there's a lot of tag teams out there right now. This is. I'm gonna have my eye on this one.
Me too.
You know.
The athleticism of Lash Legend and Nia Jax and just the things that they can do in the ring.
Yeah.
Combine that with the hunger. But then at the same time, Paige and Brie Bella, I feel like it's crazy as it sounds. To me, it seems like they have something to prove.
They do have something to prove because this is a completely different division than the one that either of them had competed in before.
It just sounds crazy to be like, oh, Brie Bella's got something to prove when she's a Hall of Famer.
And Paige revolutionized the entire industry. But the fact is that once you revolutionize the industry shifts with what you created. And now it's time to find out if you can hang in the space that you created. And I think that that's what this match and a lot of the matches that Paige and Brie Bella have had are all about. And then, of course, the match I was talking about before, the 6 women's tag match that was announced on SmackDown. I mean, talking about a legendary team.
This is so crazy to see Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley together.
With Alexa Bliss. Nuts. Against Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab. I mean, you'd like to think that Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss would be unstoppable. But that Charlotte-Alexa chemistry is a very, very unique chemistry. And I don't know what happens when you throw another element in there. We know that Michin, Jade Cargill, and B-Fab are a unit.
Yes.
I don't know if...
Remember the drama before Elimination Chamber?
Of course.
Getting Charlotte and Rhea to be on the same team?
Of course. Insane. Look, we are going to unpack it all coming off of Saturday night's main event, going into next Monday night. We will be here on WWE Now on the Raw Recap to recap every last bit of it. Brock Lesnar's back. Unbelievable. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe across all audio platforms, comment, like on YouTube, and we'll see you next week here on the Raw Recap.